It was once commented that to see Sybil Ramkin's upholstered bosom rise and fall was to understand the history of empires. We couldn't have been happier when we got an inquiry about making Lady Sybil's corset for the stage adaptation of Guards. Our seamstress Sasha is a huge fan of Sir Terry Pratchett, and our artist Dasha loves performing arts. In this video, we'll talk about their joint design efforts and production specifics for leather. When the client reached out to us, Sasha joked that it would be fun to finish the corset in time for the glorious revolution of Ankh-Morpork on May 25th. It turned out that the deadline was even sooner than that. The opening of the production was to be on May 28th, and the client gave us a hard deadline of May 10th. Funnily enough, we had already worked on the concept of a fireproof corset. Some time ago, a welder felt that better support would alleviate her back pain, so she reached out to us. For Lady Sybil's design, we married our experience from that request, our research on blacksmiths' aprons, and of course, Sasha's book knowledge. The client's brief was two separate pieces, an apron for the character and a corset for her. She planned to wear the corset in her everyday life after the performances were over. We wanted to concentrate the metalware on the apron and make the corset as neutral as possible. The Discworld is a fantasy setting, so a zipper would be anachronistic. Another option was lacing in the front, but the laces could get damaged in the fire. Therefore, the only closure available to us was a busk, and corset busks only come in a limited number of colors: silver, gold, and black. We knew that straight-up gold would look too shiny and too new. We decided to use brass hardware, and we didn't have a busk to match. On fabric corsets, we sometimes use a flap to cover the busk, but leather is too thick for that. Our only option was a solid front. The client mentioned that her weight tends to fluctuate. At the time, we didn't know that she would be puppeteering Errol, but we knew that on stage she would need as much freedom of movement as we could give her. We made a wider modesty panel to accommodate possible weight swings. Despite our intention to keep the metal parts to a minimum, we also added belt buckles on the shoulder straps. This way, the client can tighten the buckles if she loses weight and some of the breast volume with it, or she can loosen the buckles if she needs to swing her arms or wear a thicker undershirt. Another cute little detail that we couldn't resist adding were these dragon medallions that Sasha found by accident and immediately fell in love with. One upside of working with leather versus fabric is that you're not constrained by the grain line. The downside, however, is that leather comes in hides, and you might not have the same width or length as you would with fabric. We knew we would need to break some pattern pieces down into smaller sections because of this. Sasha truly outdid herself on this project, using every inch of the leather we ordered. By the time she was done, she only had a palm-sized piece remaining. The rest of the process is also quite different from traditional sewing. When Sasha learned leather corsetry last year, she mentioned feeling like she was back in art class in grade 7, learning how to use glue and brushes for the first time. Leather needs to be interfaced just like fabric, but you have to be very careful with the iron. Heat and steam soften the leather, so it might stretch out beyond the intended size, and there's no way to fix it if it does. Leather also doesn't heal like fabric, so you have one attempt per seam, no seam ripping. You can't pin the pieces together, and you can't even use a regular presser foot on the sewing machine. Gluing helps when you stack multiple layers, but you can't glue most of the seams. The presser foot must be Teflon so that it can glide over the leather, and you need a special needle that cuts the leather and does not rip through it. After sewing, seam allowances must be hammered down, the same way as when you tenderize meat, to make them less bulky. The leather can burst if it's flattened too much, so you need to be careful not to overdo it. This is only a small fraction of the expertise required for this unique and highly skilled process. You may remember we love a fun lining. Sasha was very pleased when she found this lilac-printed cotton. She felt like it would make a perfect token of her love for the books. The audience can't see the lining, so it's a secret just between us, the client, and you who had the privilege to have been there. In the books, Lady Sybil's corset could withstand the kind of tensions more usually found in the heart of large stars. We hope our work can live up to it. Thank you for watching this video. We are publishing it on the day of the Glorious Revolution, so we wish all of you truth, justice, freedom, reasonably priced love, and a hard-boiled egg. Gnu Terry Pratchett.